Hello, hello, testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Hello, good afternoon. Can y'all hear me okay? Hello, hello, testing, testing. Double checking.
Sure can. Sounds good.
All right, Mr. John. Hello, folks. On behalf of BBB, we appreciate you guys. Welcome to Managing Google My Business, or we'll say Mastering Google My Business, right? For the sake of time, what we're doing is we're recording the interview, and we're going to be making that available. We muted the lines. John, as you mentioned, you're free to unmute at any point. You're going to co-present, take feedback, take questions, however you think. And if folks need additional information, they're free to reach out to you guys and to talk further about a custom plan to fit their business, of course. Of course, we'll pass along the recording links. We're going to email everybody that missed it or needs additional details. We'll email the links out for the recording of the seminar as well. On behalf of BBB, we appreciate everybody that's going to be joining us. This is a free session available to all Texas businesses, obviously, who need it. And our mission is to be the leader in advancing marketplace trust. And to do that, we present webinars that are related to helping improve, or in the situation of COVID-19, really help improve your business and kind of look at what's going on in the environment and the business community right now. Just a heads up to like our page, our BBB Facebook page, whether you're in any of the areas, San Antonio, Fort Worth, Midland, Odessa, Corpus, anywhere, just make sure to like our page, get notified when we're doing our next training. And if we can help your business, we are available for a 15-minute free consultation, let you know how we can help improve your listing with BBB. You do have a free presence on Better Business Bureau as well. So just let us know how we can do that. In addition to having a Google My Business listing and all the other review sites. I mean, BBB's been there since 1912. We've been around. So let us know how we can help move the needle for your business as well. And by the way, we do have all information about helping you as well with your listing for Better Business Bureau. So let us know how we can do that. Without further ado, Mr. Jon Bean, RevLocal, an accredited BBB business as well. Over 9 years of great online experience. Digital marketing is his forte. Plenty of knowledge here. So again, feel free to ask questions in the chat or speak up as well. We can John will pass those along. If I see some in chat that they're kind of in queue, I'll pass those along as well, John. But by all means, the Zoom floor is yours, John. Appreciate everybody's time.
Excellent. Thank you guys so very much. I do appreciate it. And just as I start off, I do want to make sure that everybody does know, while there'll be a Q&A at the end, I do want to make sure that you guys, if you have a question, please feel free to stop in and ask your question, because some people you might not remember to ask it at the end. I don't want you to forget. So again, if you have a question, it's full engagement here. Please just step in, go right ahead. It's not a problem. Ask that question. May spark another good question from someone else. So, but moving forward, we're going to go ahead into the screen share here. 1 second. So, all right. Can everybody see my screen okay?
I think we're still watching you. Just double check.
Okay, let me see. All right.
There we go.
All right. Excellent. Okay. So right off the bat, we're starting with this. Everything you need to know about Google My Business. Okay. Now, that is me, obviously, the presenter. I am a sales area leader for RevLocal. I've been here for a few years. I've been involved in all different types of marketing over the years as well. So really looking forward to kind of diving into this. And again, feel free to go right ahead and stop me if you guys have any questions. But a little bit about us, RevLocal. As
John, did we lose you here? We can't hear your audio. We've got your presentation still. There it goes. John, you still there? I think we lost audio again, but we still got the presentation up.
Move forward. What is Google My Business? So essentially, it's a free online tool businesses use to publish their information into search results. We see this all the time when we're searching for different services for different businesses. It's what pops up generally for any search that involves a business. So we're going to take a deeper dive into this. Okay. But anytime you hear me say GMB, again, that's Google My Business. Okay. Now, overall, it's 3.5 billion searches that happen on Google every single day. And to be fair, the number of searches just this month alone, with everything that we have going on, has gone through the roof. So typically all of last year, it was about 2.8 million searches a minute. And right now we're closer to 12.2 million searches a minute just since March 1st. And it's actually just been an increase of 236% month over month for the last 90 days as well. More people are searching now online than ever, given everything. And in a lot of cases, business hasn't stopped as much as it has picked up. They're looking for your businesses online now more than ever. Now, this is just a basic breakdown. This is the anatomy of a search, okay? Now, essentially, when you look something up, and if you implore upon you, you feel free to put it to your phone right now. And if you say, for instance, Googled, this is tax relief for Woodland Hills in California, but you can Google dentist near you right now. The first thing you're going to see are the paid ads at the top, okay? That's, as they say, the pay to play section, which includes custom links to site pages. And ultimately, this is the targeted ads piece, okay? So again, this is everything above those local search results, or also, as I like to call it, the maps and pushpin section. Now that again is right here in the middle, these top three, and it's usually three. If you ever see a fourth that's in here, if you ever see four of them, usually that top one is another type of ad that people run within the local search section, okay? But primarily the top three, those are the ones that show up more often than not, and the ones that Google favors. The most relevant, prominent businesses typically appear here, as the slide says, prompting users to call or get directions. Okay, so again, paid ads at the top, and then primarily the local search section is everything else. Now, here at the bottom is actually the organic search results. This is really interesting. Relevant websites appear at the bottom of the page to give users an option to bypass ads and local results. And I like that it says if they make it that far, because the truth is most people don't make it that far. You know what they end up doing? They click on more places right here, okay? 85% of everybody stays from right here in this line and above. They're typically not going to scroll all the way down to the organic search results anymore, okay? So it's either going to be the top three, or it's going to be the next several businesses that follow after you click on more places. Okay, again, anyone who doesn't click on the ads, for those that don't, they're going to the local search results, and it's at a high clip, and that percentage is going up every day. Some 10, 15 years ago, organic research results were a much Now, how to create a Google My Business listing. One of the first things you can do is you can start by going on www.google.com/business and actually get it started there. And in a lot of cases, when I do these webinars or speaking in front of people at an event, people will have their Google My Business page created, if they don't have one, by the time I'm finished talking. So it doesn't take long to go ahead and start that process. But if you don't already have a Google My Business listing for your business, and I do mean that per location, because if you happen to have 3 locations, I'm assuming you should have 3 listings. That's how Google thinks. Okay, so a Google My Business listing per location. Again, you start by going to www.google.com/business. Now, ultimately, the basics of creating a listing. You're going to log in with your Gmail. Now, again, as it says, if you don't have a Gmail, go ahead and create one. Again, while I'm talking right now, like go ahead and do this. Your listing may exist already. Now, Google will create listings based on check-ins or Facebook posts. But basically, what I really implore everybody to do is search your business name and select that listing if one does exist. Now, when you're doing this, again, search your business. You also want to check to see if you maybe have multiple listings. For those of you that maybe have inherited and taken a business from someone else, right? You're like, hey, you know, John, I've only been the owner for the last 3 years. This actually belonged to some other guy. We're going to get into this a little bit later, but you want to make sure there's not multiple listings floating around. Now, that said, in terms of creating your listing, enter in your information, and you want to verify that the information on the listing that you're claiming is 100% accurate. And so even if you have an existing listing, I'm telling you right now, address or service area, make sure it's correct. Yes, if you have a suite number, that's off. If you have a suite number that's with your business, it needs to be listed on Google. Okay, if you're B210, it needs to say that on Google. Okay, if you're in a strip center and you don't have your suite number listed at all, you need to make sure that suite number is listed, because in Google's eyes, every single business that's in that strip center along with you, you might as well all be the same business. Okay, so again, make sure your address is correct. Make sure, obviously, the business hours are correct. Now more than ever, right now, you have to make sure your business hours are correct so people know if you're open, if there have been any adjustments in the time. I'm sure a few of you, if you've been searching online for any of the businesses in your area or around the country, you'll notice that it now has the COVID tab where it basically says hours may be changed due to COVID. And that's great and all, and I love that Google's doing that, but at the end of the day, change your business hours to fit what they are in real time, okay? Even if your storefront isn't open, but you know good and well that your business is still functioning and you're still taking customers, adjust the business hours to match, okay? Same with the phone number. I've actually found in a lot of areas that business owners, when they start out, they will use their cell phone as their phone number, and then they have a phone line and they forget in a lot of areas how many numbers they have floating around. So whatever the primary number for your business is, that's the one that needs to be up there. Because in some cases, you probably have your old cell phone number still floating around when you really want people calling that business line. Nevertheless, business category also huge, making sure the correct category for your industry is listed up there. And then obviously the description of your business. The last thing is photos and video. I will get into that a little bit more later, but you definitely want to make sure that your photos and any videos are up to date on your Google My Business listing. Any questions here, guys? Okay. Now, verifying your listing. Now, this is the other interesting part. Now, your information is not live once you start creating that listing. After the creation, your listing really needs to still be verified. And what it says, it helps cut down on spam listings, and it does. It also keeps other businesses from messing with your listing as well. I take it there's probably a few people on here who have already gone through these verification methods. Someone was talking just now. Go ahead. Thought I heard someone. So, and again, feel free to stop me and ask questions, guys, because if you've ever gone through this method and had to wait a long time for that postcard, like that is the process. But they are starting to slowly move towards more phone calls and texts. Okay. It's a lot quicker to verify it that way. But for some of you, depending on where your address is and of the business, and perhaps if you're off a frontage road, a lot of things you got to focus on is making sure that your address is in accordance with whatever USPS actually has for you. Okay. And it's letter for letter, word for word. Does it say frontage road I-35? You know, or does it just say the address in IH-35, right? Interstate Highway 35. So it's got to be listed word for word as USPS acknowledges it, okay? And that's the really, really tricky part out here. So, but nevertheless, 3 verification methods: postcard, phone call, and then text, okay? And the postcard will look exactly like what you see here. Now, this is the navigation panel buttons. Ultimately useful features in the Google My Business dashboard after you've established everything. Now, this is ultimately what the home screen looks like. And again, for those of you that already have a page, you've probably seen this. Perhaps you interact with it, perhaps you don't. I would implore upon you to at least look to see exactly what the different things are that is going on with your page. This is how people are interacting with your business, right? And I know at your end, you're probably just looking like, well, I just want to see the bottom line, it's dollars, but this is letting you know what the consumer journey is for your customers right now in real time, even while we're talking, what the consumer journey is before people get to you. And it also lets you know how many people saw you and didn't actually interact with you. So maybe you popped up on the search and they didn't do anything. So it breaks down, if you look to the right up here, the performance, okay? So it breaks down how many views you had, how many people searched for you. Basically, they typed in some service that you offered and you popped up, and then the level of activity, okay, which is really and truly the level of engagement, okay? But a quick overview of how your listing is performing: views, searches, and activity. Search views and map views. Obviously, map views are really huge because that shows that people are actually clicking to see exactly where you're located, okay? And that part is huge, okay? Now, Google posts and clicks. Google posts is something interesting. Google's been doing this for a couple of years now. And ultimately, and that's the post you see over here to the right-hand side of the screen, okay? Whereas 2019 brought on new changes. This is actually a Google post for a business, okay? Again, this is something free that you really need to be able to keep up with. Our company does a good job of doing so, but you wanna make a couple of posts every month, at the very least one post a month, to keep top of mind with people, and they can see it underneath your Google My Business page, okay? So again, that's search views and map views, then Google post views and clicks. The next one is photo views. Now, I do want to really make sure I point out the fact that some of you may have a Google My Business page where the photo is out of date. I always tell the quick story of the poor lady that called me in with her daycare center, and she didn't realize that for the 7 months after she took over the new daycare, that they had a picture of an alley for their primary picture of the daycare. She had no clue. And she wondered why business had taken a hit recently. There were some other factors in there, but I can tell you from a daycare perspective, I wouldn't bring my kid to a place where all I see is an alley. It's not indicative of what you're doing, okay? And not just the photos, but everything we're talking about is basically making sure that the hard work that you guys put in for your business, the quality of the services that you guys provide, that everything is fully reflective online before I get to you, okay? That's before I call you. What do I see? Before I email you, before I click on any part of your business, what do you look like? It's gotta match, again, the quality of the services that you probably have been providing for years, okay? The last part about this is also recent reviews. We'll dig more into any questions about that, guys, before I move on? Right, next slide. Now, posts. Again, these are just basics here. So feature a post on your listing for 7 days. Now, these are just a couple of ideas about what type of Google posts you can do. So it's news, it's updates, it's blog posts, okay? And a lot of you may even have questions about blogs. You don't have to have a blog, but this is showing you that the more things you have going on, the more activity you have, the better it is for your Google My Business page, and the better you're looking online, okay? Now, if you're like, hey, I really don't have a lot of events going on, the next thing I go to is, well, offers and products, coupons. So are you offering any promotions whatsoever? It's actually got it in the upper right-hand corner. It says add offer, add event, or just add an update. You want to always be doing one of the three. And if there is an event going on, or there's a promotion where you're like, hey, we're only running this through the 1st of next month. Well, when you put that actual date up there, it'll actually feature and run the listing up through the date that was intended, okay? But again, you don't have to be running a promotion. And you don't have to necessarily be doing an event. If that's not the case, you just want to put something to make sure that you're kept top of mind in that Google post. Keep it simple. Don't overthink it. Okay. Now, drive traffic, which is another big reason why we're doing all of this, right? We want to drive more traffic. I already know that people are online looking for the services of all of your businesses, right? I already know that they're searching. The key is when they're searching, where do you want to show up and how often do you want to be in front of these people? Now, it says add a CTA. CTA effectively is just call to action, okay? So you want to add a call to action that leads customers from your Google My Business listing onto your website, okay? This is a lot of the things that we do as well. We also help out by building landing pages and letting that be, in essence, a call to action page to drive business to your website. But little things, order online, huge, okay? Call now, that's a massive one. Really, everybody needs to see that. Learn more, sign up now, okay? Book here, buy now, okay? Those are simple call to action tabs that people want to see quickly. Again, your website might be beautiful. It might be aesthetically pleasing, might be a long, massive website. That's all great. People need something that they can go to very quickly and be able to access your business. And then if they want to learn more, if they want to see more, then they can go to your website and click on a button that can take them there. But call to action pages and call to action buttons in general are huge. Moving on, guys. This is info. This is just how to modify your information. And I do hope some of you are pulling your phones on the side and kind of looking over this while I'm going through it. Again, feel free to stop me if you have any questions. It's not a problem at all. This is RevLocal, our company as a whole. We're listed as a lot of different things, right, from a category standpoint. So it's a marketing agency, it's website designer, advertising agency, marketing consultants, et cetera, et cetera. But you want to cover anything and everything that has to do with your business, okay? So if you happen to have a med spa, there might be several different services that you offer, all right? You want to make sure that you list all of them, okay? If you're a lawyer and attorney, right? So you want to make sure that you list that maybe you guys do personal injury, perhaps you do immigration, maybe you do a little bit of criminal defense, maybe you do all of the above. List everything that has to do with your business, right? But ultimately the info page, you can add or remove categories, choose the cities for your service area, which are huge, right? And then enter in an appointment URL as well. Attributes, write a business description. Now, for the re-verification process, note, if you update your address or any of these key pieces of information, it might prompt a re-verification. That's just the process, right? Don't freak out. Now, your listing will not show in the search while it's in re-verification until it's official. Again, that's just really if you moved addresses or if you're about to move from A to B, okay? The other parts of this too is for any single person that might be doing a PO box currently. If you are, for whatever reason, having a PO box, that's the address for your Google My Business page. I can assure you, Google will have an issue with it. And if it hasn't been taken down already, it will make a move on you to do so. You really need a solid address, not a PO box, to be able to run your Google My Business listing, okay? Next slide is insights, another part of the page. This is really about evaluating your performance overall, and it really gives you a more in-depth look to your listings performance as a whole. So it's directory, direct, discovery, and branded searches, okay? And this is actually, that's really interesting too, because if it's a direct search, okay, really that's customers who found your listing for your business, they typed you in by name, okay? And that's great. That means, hey, man, I have a great word of mouth. I've got the strongest word of mouth ever. But a lot of this is also not just about how strong your word of mouth is, but it's about catching people who don't know who in the world you are. Then you can get their word of mouth too, okay? Say that again. This is about making sure, this is about how much business you're missing by not doing these things. You could have done $1 million last week, and I promise you, if you're not showing up consistently online, you should have done $1.5 million. These are the areas where you're missing people, okay? So direct searches are great, but I'm really stressing the discovery aspect of this, okay? Or categorical searches. These are the customers who literally found you because they didn't Google, they didn't know that you were Stephen Miller Associates and such, right? They Googled attorney, they Googled personal injury, and then after they Googled personal injury, Stephen Miller and Associates popped up. They Googled your services. These are the very important people. So this section up here that you see, that blue area, which is really discovery, that's your categorical. You need that to increase. The bigger that is, the better you are doing from that standpoint as well. Again, categorical searches. Now, how many people actually click on your site, right? Is your site too big? Is it too much for people? And then they bounce right off. And then directions, and obviously how many people click the call. After this, we have zip codes. Zip codes are also key. How many phone calls and photo views? Okay, I go back to photo views a lot because people like images. It's just a thing. Now, the cool thing is, and this is something that's a lot newer, but at the bottom it says compared to other local businesses, and seeing how you compare rather to local businesses. But there's something now called photo quantity. Okay, essentially the photo quantity shows how many photos your business has compared to other businesses in your area. So it shows if you have a lot, it shows if you're kind of struggling a little bit, but it really gives you a good insight into kind of going, wow, all of my competition has more photos than me, right? And even if you don't care about any of this stuff, some part of you must realize by now you have to cater to this in these different platforms. It doesn't matter if you don't like Google. It doesn't matter if you don't like Facebook. When you open up a business, you now have to cater to different aspects of those things, right? That said, let's move on to the next slide, guys. Now, this next part is about reviews. It says increase your review count and increase rankings. I don't want to go around the room to ask how many people hate or maybe love reviews. I'm sure it varies. But again, it's not about what you like or don't like. It's the fact that when you open a business, you now have to cater to worrying about what the reviews are. And a quick tip here, which I do like, is compare how many reviews you have to other local businesses in your industry to help set a goal for where you want to be. Wow. And that's a big piece of it. I'll tell you another important piece of it. You should compare how many reviews you have versus how much business you typically see. What is your volume of business? Because, well, if you say, hey, I've got 40 reviews, they're all a 5.0, and my 40 reviews are amazing. Well, the first question I would have for you is, how many people do you typically see customer-wise every week? And if you say, oh, we have 30 customers a day. Well, 30 customers a day, you open 5 days a week. That's 150 people you see a week. All of a sudden, 40 reviews, if you've been around for a couple of years, it's not that much. It shows you're missing a large amount of people. And one of the biggest things about all of this is how many times are you giving people an opportunity to actually leave a review? Not just asking them. We can all ask for reviews. I've had tons of people ask me, hey, I had a great time. John, would you leave me a review? And honestly, when I get to my car, there's a chance I'm going to forget. Life goes on. Doesn't mean I don't love your place, but the people who usually send me a prompt or I get some sort of message to leave a review, those are the ones that get a response from me. Just being honest. Now, recent reviews also matter. Make sure to build up reviews across a long period of time. And while it shows longevity, I think while it says the new reviews, yes, they do indicate that you're still open. But for me, it shows that you're still on your game. If I see your 40 reviews, for instance, and they may all be a 5.0, but if I note that you haven't had a review left for your business in, say, the last 3 or 4 months, I am kind of wondering, wow, did you fall off? Well, what happened? Again, I don't know the difference between you and the next business. I only know who showed up when I searched what I searched and how presentable you were before I got to you, okay? Now, any questions about reviews, guys, before we move on to the next piece? Okay. Now, the next piece here, messaging. This part is really about live chatting and being able to speak directly with your customers through the Google My Business app. It's a feature now that can be turned on or off if you don't want to manage it all the time. But the messaging aspect of it is simple to reply within 24 hours. Don't discuss, obviously, confidential information if you choose to use it. And you can customize an automated welcome message. Again, you guys can be looking at this while I'm talking. It's all already on your dashboard and accessible for you. A lot of this is just about keeping up with all of it on the day-to-day. The SMS, this is just in case you want to, people can opt out of the messaging. Spam, you can report the spam user to Google if there's an issue, or blocks a user for messaging you. But I don't expect that you guys are going to be diving into that too much with your businesses, but it is a part that Google has added. Photos. I harped on this already a little bit. These are what a typical photo layout would look like if you see this to the right. But ultimately, just like I said, that daycare did not know that she had an entire alley that was being featured for her business. You want to take control of this. You want to verify your listing and actually manage your photos. Okay, go up there, see what's going on, add, delete, whatever. How old are the photos, right? You want to upload a logo and a cover photo. Now, this should be the first photos that customers see. It says, as it says, events, team photos, products, the building exterior and interior. You want to keep it with the format tips, as you can see, 10 megabytes maximum. But the cool thing is too, you can now add video. Customers love to learn through videos. You would use that to teach or advertise your services and location. And by the way, for those of you who are thinking, man, I don't have a video yet, it's just, I've been too busy, don't freak out about it. I really would harp on the fact that you need to get a lot of these little things in order before we start trying to get together to film a video. Let's take care of the basic stuff first, okay? If you have a video, great. Post it, put it in circulation with the rest of these things that we're talking about. But let's take care of, again, the basics first. This is an interesting one. 42% of listings that have photos receive more requests to driving directions just because they had a photo, okay? They're getting 42% rise in requests for driving directions. Again, we are pretty simple people, right? We like images and things. That's pretty image. People will engage with your stuff more, okay? And again, you might be an amazing business, but I'm going to go with the guy who has really extremely high volume of reviews, a lot of photos, and they're quick and easy to use and work with. Okay, and that's a lot of what we do from our standpoint as a company, from RevLocal standpoint, but you have to be easy to use. It's not just about being found, it's about being chosen, and again, easy to work with. Now, it's the content list. This is just the basics of sharing exactly what you do or what you offer. We've been talking a lot about services. You have to understand that when you're sharing these things, depending on your business type, of course, you need to make sure that these are also, that you don't realize rather, that this is also affecting how you show up if you don't get this correct. You want to make sure that your products, services, any items that you have, your menu are attached correctly to your listing. You see, for ours, we've got local search, review marketing, paid ads, et cetera, et cetera. Those are the things that we offer. Those are the things that we have that are tied to our business. Now, types of lists by industry, obviously, if you're a restaurant, bar, any type of catering, anything having to do with food, you should have a menu listing, right, for your content list. Retail, online shopping, obviously you would have a product list, okay? Now, if it's literally anything else, it's going to be the service list, okay? Yes, dentists, attorneys, hotels, insurance, but it's virtually any of those. You're gonna have services, okay? Med spas, there's a lot of people that are factored in on there as well, okay? But this is pretty straightforward. Next thing is a website. So this is the cool part. So you can get a quick, and I do mean quick, temporary website. You can create a Google built website if you don't already have a mobile optimized site. this is a temporary solution. And if you want me to equate it to anything, here's a quick analogy for you. It's like if you or I got a flat tire right now, even though no one's leaving their home, but if you got a flat tire right now, and you put that old school flat on there, and you've got the little old school donut. Now, the other part of it is you can customize your template. Google will fill in the information, your hours of operation, based off of what you've entered in your listing. A lot of people come to us and they're like, hey, I've got a temp site, so I'm good. And I'm like, not exactly. We need to build you a very solid, user-friendly landing page. And that can operate as your website for now. But again, the website piece, if you're going to build it on your own, is just a temp piece from a Google standpoint.
Hey, John, quick question for you. Sorry about this. It's
No,
Jason. You cut out for a few seconds on that analogy about putting the patch. Can you reemphasize that real quick?
absolutely. Yeah, sure. So what I was saying is it is exactly that. It's a patch. So when you're building a Google built website, it's like a very quick page. Okay. It's not optimized very well. It's super basic. It's a temporary solution. So it's the equivalent to a flat tire. When you have one and you put the donut on your car, you put the spare tire, that's all it is. It's a spare tire to what really needs to be a solid solution. Okay. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah, I think so. Got you. I think we got we just went, if we missed anything, we were about a 15-second drop for a few minutes, 3
Oh
seconds.
man, sorry about that. No, please, and thank you for letting me know. My apologies. So yeah, it's basically a spare tire for those temp sites. But at some point, you really want to get it, at the very least, a customized landing page or a website up. Okay. Now, this next part is just about the users and the different levels of access. Multiple users can be added. It might be yourself, maybe one or two other owners or partners, and then you're like, oh, well, we have our marketing manager. Obviously, they would need access too. But ultimately, this is just saying multiple users can be added, uh, and your job is really to monitor who has access to your listing and what they're able to change. I personally wouldn't hand out access to too many different people. It really should be you, perhaps the other owner, and then whoever you're. Now, this is really about effectively communicating with potential customers as much as possible. Okay. Now, it starts with update holiday hours. Set your holiday hours for the year so you don't forget when things get busy over the holidays. Completely 100% agree with this. Holiday people call me, they will talk to us all the time. We have full communication with our clients. So they always will let us know what the holiday hours are. But now that we have all of this going on, there's a lot of hours that are changing and it's pretty fluid. And in some cases, in the last 3 weeks, I've had business owners reach out to us about 3 times saying, got to change the hours for the next 7 days. Hey, I know it's different than what I said last week. And we're very, very quick about this. You don't realize this, but even before when, whether it be COVID or what have you was going on, just from a day-to-day perspective, people don't realize that the business hours with the old sign that you can put out front for your storefront, more people are going to see you digitally those hours than they will in real time. Because I used to talk to a lot of business owners and they would say, oh, well, we changed it on the store. Like people who walk by know. And I'm like, there's more people seeing you online, several, like by the thousands over the people who physically are going to walk by, through, and around your store. There's more eyes on that. So again, update your hours. Second part here is posting on a monthly basis. I personally think twice a month is great. If you, at the very least, can do it once a month, that's perfect too. But again, that's really a big, big helpful hint. Now, using insights to drive strategy. That's a really cool part as well. the data from the Insights tab really help drive future marketing strategies. And I do really want you guys to sit back and think about it, because for however well you may be in touch with your client base, you may have a very strong client base and a lot of customers who know who you are. We are really, and you really need to rather consider how many people are skipping over you or passing over you and don't know who you are, how consistently you're showing up, and then how often you are being chosen when you show up as well. So again, in that, consider where and when searches are being made. This is all about the consumer journey before they get to you, okay? What time of day, all of those things really factor in. What action people are taking when they find you, okay? How many people are seeing you guys and they choose you and then they basically back up and jump away, right? How many of them actually go and they choose your business? The other thing that I really want to cover is how many times do they touch your business and how often are you in front of them before they make their decision? And I always say that because I think in a lot of our minds, we go, all right, they saw me, they clicked, they called, it was done in 3 minutes. That was the whole thing. That was the sale. That's not realistic today. Not for any. It really almost doesn't matter what your business is. It's not realistic. There's going to be multiple touches. And in some cases, it's the difference between an average of 3 to 5 touches before they actually called you, actually clicked for directions, actually came in just to consider you, right? And in some cases, if it's any realm of auto or perhaps any realtors, if we have real estate agents on, we're talking between 7 or 10 touches that you need to be in front of them from your end before they make their decision, before they even consider you, right? So that's why from a search engine optimization standpoint, at a base level, you need that taken care of. But that's where different things like making sure your reviews are taken care of and different things on the order of paid ads before they make their decision, okay? So that filters into what actions people are taking when they find you and what keywords they use when they find you. Any questions there before I go on to the next slide, guys? Okay. Next one. Monitor your Google Q&A. I don't think you guys noticed that you got questions down there. Now, as it pointed out, anyone can answer questions, but the answer may not always be accurate, right? And there's some businesses right now that are in this meeting that we're doing where I could look you up and there's questions sitting there where no one's ever answered them, like from maybe a year ago. Happens all the time. And people are noticing things like that. By the way, the same thing, I know we didn't touch on it a whole lot, but the same thing for the reviews. If you're not responding to the reviews, I notice that all the time. Wow, look, that person said something really positive. Look at all these positive reviews. Owner nowhere to be found for a response. The owner's just completely gone. Respond to your reviews, respond to the questions on your listing. Okay. Now, yes, if it's something inappropriate, as it says, flag the question, right? If it's an inappropriate answer, flag that as well. But questions and answers, it's going to become even more important as we move on through the next year. Same with the reviews. Someone, if not the owner, someone needs to be responding to that in lieu of the owner if the owner's too busy. Okay. So that responding to reviews in 48 hours, for those of you who right now are like, man, I do what I can, I'm just really busy. There's got to be someone that you can have this designated to go out and actually respond to those reviews. Someone you trust who in 2 days can say, all right, 6 reviews just came in. I got them. I got a quick response. And if it happens to be a negative review, this is an important thing. If it happens to be a negative review, we can't have you going in and destroying basically any level of reputation that you have. Even if the client or the customer is in the wrong, You are not to have an aggressive response toward that person because everybody can see what your response is, right? You have to be even tempered and you have to take your time. That's part of what we do too, is we will actually go in and respond to people's reviews because you are busy. So if you're not going to bring in a company to do it like us, have someone designated to do it. Okay. If you think you can handle it, knock it out, but be consistent with it and respond to everyone, not just the negative, but the positive ones as well. Okay. Go to the next slide. Now here it says 30% of customers say they're more likely to choose a business that actively replies to reviews. I honestly think that number is a lot higher, to be honest with you. I can promise you this, that number is not going down. It's going up. People are paying way more attention. Okay, so just take note of these things. Now I've got a couple of different things I also want to add here too, but overall, when we're looking at your Google My Business page, overall, when you're looking at what different things I need to focus on or break down, or I already have a Google My Business page, it's very much like, it's very much for those of you who have a storefront, when you put your sign up the first day. You didn't just put your sign up and then, okay, well, I guess that's it. Everything's done, right? You put your sign up and there needed to be more work behind that, right? Otherwise, it's just a sign. It's just a business that you open. It's just a brick and mortar. You have to do things to pump in engagement. And there's a lot of work that has to go in behind the scenes to keep up with those things. And that's how I think of a Google My Business page. It's just the basics. It's just a sign. But unless you're managing it, unless you're doing the work, then it's kind of all for naught. And a lot of people are not staying up to date with anything. They're kind of just throwing it out there. Yeah, well, I have one. And I mean, I've got some good reviews. I haven't really responded to anything and haven't posted a picture in, a long time. Or, oh, I took over the business. You guys have to be super proactive with this, in truth. People bring us in for top of mind, but a lot of it, because they know it's being taken care of, but we also happen to be really good at it and we're communicating with you on it. And quite frankly, most owners don't have the time. I will also say, and this is just my thoughts from having to deal day to day with so many different business owners, my clients, and a lot of you, and this is myself included, I'm pretty savvy at this stuff, from paid ads to reviews and all that. If I have my own business, I would not try to run it on my own because I know what it takes to keep up with it consistently. I wouldn't have the time to do it and run the business, not do it well, not do it at a high level. I mean, right now I'm pretty savvy with cars. I could change my own oil. But when we get talking about, anything having to do with digital marketing or Google or paid ads, that stuff, that's like, oh, I'm going to rebuild my engine off my YouTube video. That's not going to go well. I probably need to call in an expert. So some of these basic things you guys need to be doing on your own. And some of it, it's like, you kind of need to know, well, I probably need more consistent help because I'm pretty far behind. And usually when business owners sit down with us and I'm just talking to them about the basics, those basics that need to be done, that's just catching you up because you're already behind in the digital sense of where you are. And again, that's regardless of the revenue or your customer base or how big you may think it is. In the digital sense, it's about not just catching you up, but then getting to a point where you're ahead of your competition and it's generating a lot more business for you. Okay. Now, as we're rounding this out, guys, I do want to, and this is my contact information. Again, that's my personal cell, the 512-913-3237. I am in Austin. I've been in Austin for 20 years, and I usually am in San Antonio every single week, pretty consistently. I actually have a place to stay in San Antonio as well. Love San Antonio. I've been going there back and forth for years, every single week. So you guys are like home to me. So, again, but anywhere in this area, you guys feel free to shoot me an email or really shoot me a text or call. People call me all the time. If you want to just do a kind of screen share meeting, and I'll look over your stuff. No problem. If you just want to text, email, and just ask questions, man, I'm completely open for it. But I do want to see if there are any questions out there for anybody whatsoever. I know we had a smaller group today, but feel free.
Okay, yes, John, for anybody has any other questions, I believe a gentleman was in and he chatted a question and then left, but his question was, is this the same as Google Maps? Is a Google My Business listing also populating Google Maps?
So yes, that will also affect your Google Maps from that standpoint, but keep in mind, when you do that, there's also Apple Maps that factors in. There's different directories. This is the start. This is one big directory. But to answer his question, yes, it would affect his Google Maps. So making sure that information is pinpoint correct will affect the pushpin on the map and the address of where it is. So, but if you start getting into Apple Maps on people's iPhone, that's actually a difference.
Got you. Okay. And another one is an observation that I had with a business. They had multiple locations, obviously, some multiple listings. Well, they were asking to verify the listing by postcards. And by doing that, they had to wait on the mail to deliver a postcard. But when they sent the verification of the postcard, it was a phone number they had to call. Well, the phone number that they tied to their Google My Business listing has a phone tree on it, which it goes to an automated answering service. And Google My Business could not get through the phone tree, and it hung up by the time it got to a live person to verify the listing. So that listing was a runaway listing for a long time. So my observation was, if you can get around that, if you know you have a phone tree on your main lines, don't offer that as a verification listing, or do it online, or any other advice you can give on that, John.
Yeah, 100%. And so that's a really, really, really big part of it too. If you have a phone tree at all, you want to opt for the text or call verification. You don't want to, or it's just really tough because I've actually had businesses, especially if it's multiple locations, that will go completely away from the phone tree standpoint, just to make sure that everything's verified and correct. But to your point, you want to avoid doing it that way, and you want to opt in for a text, because you'll be waiting for that postcard forever and a day. It's going to be a while. Google has a problem getting around the phone tree, and they're going to try to push it to give you the text option, and that's the option you want to take.
Gotcha. Okay. And Heather's in chat saying, great information as always. Thank you. And I believe we have Rachel as well, if she wants to ask a question. If not, then we will hang on and hold.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Well, just a reminder, we are recording, so we will drop the recording to all the participants who couldn't be here so they can have access as well. And your contact info as well, Mr. John. And we appreciate you. It's great information as always. We love having our ABs, we call them our accredited businesses, in our corner, because you guys are the experts.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
All right. Well, John, you cut out there for a few seconds there, so I'm going to wait to catch up. And again, if anybody has any questions, we're going to follow up with an email and the link for the recording. And John, if you have nothing else to add, Mike, yourself as well, we appreciate you guys so much.
Hey, thank you again, guys. Thank you for having us. We'll see you next time, Jason.
And
thanks,
hopefully,
guys.
hopefully in person. We're going to buy lunch for everybody. We usually do these lunch and learns in person. We share
Yes,
a meal. We want to shake hands, but we couldn't do that this time. So we'll shoot for another month. We can do that for sure for you guys.
Next time we'll do the air high five. I'm ready. Let's do it. I'm ready.
All right, thanks a lot, guys, and have a great day, everybody.
You got it. Thanks, Jason.
Thanks.